So as you can see, this is an agency that never does things by halves and likes to give all the tech team backstage heart attacks before we start speaking. So I'm very, very pleased to welcome to talk about the rise of Hackvertising, Fernando Machado, CMO of Burger King, Ricardo Casal, Executive Creative Director at David Miami, and Juan Javier Pina, also Executive Creative Director at David Miami. Please give them a round of applause.
For the first time, and perhaps the only time, Anonymous supports Burger King.
Hey guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. This Anonymous video was a real video. It was the first time ever that Anonymous showed support for a brand. Hi, my name is Fernando Machado. I'm the global CMO for Burger King. And together with two friends and partners in crime, we are here to try to share a little bit about how we went and got that to happen.
Hi, I'm Juan Javier Peña, Executive Creative Director at David, and I'm not sure we have all the answers, but what I do know is that we have together been able to survive a lot of campaigns together. And when we start thinking about those campaigns that made BK famous, we start to find certain patterns and ingredients that are similar to the techniques used by hackers.
Hola, yo soy Ricardo Casal. Voy a empezar un poco en español porque estamos muy orgullosos de ser... Estamos muy orgullosos de ser en este año los primeros latinos en estar en el festival y aquí en la tarima. With that being said, I'm Ricardo Casal, Executive Creative Director of David Miami as well. And basically, this is about the hacking mindset. This is about how we try to do it, try sometimes. And this is about how viruses get into pop culture. So this is about how a virus in pop culture turns into something viral, basically.
And since I'm the client, I have the clicker. So let's start.
He has the power.
So
we couldn't fight it.
So there are lots of people who are kind of like afraid of this approach because they find the approach a little bit risky. You know, like hackers are not known to be the most popular characters, let's put it that way. So yeah, there is some risk involved. For us, risk and being afraid or feeling the fear when you do a campaign, when you do an idea that has to do with advertising, is just part of the process. You know, like people sometimes they say like, you guys at Burger King, the work that you guys are doing, you guys are fearless, you're not afraid of anything. That's bullshit. We are afraid all the fucking time.
Super afraid.
The only difference is that we do even when we are afraid. And that's the key thing. You know, like, fear and being afraid is part of the journey of doing something that's different. And that's what advertising is about. So let's start with some concepts around advertising. To start, just know that not all hackers, they are created equal. You know, like you have the white hat hackers, the gray hat hackers, and the black hat hackers, which is always a tongue twister for me. So the white hat hackers, they are in the game of hacking to basically, like they partner, they are freelancers to corporations, and they try to hack the system for the companies that they've been hired for, just to basically like check vulnerabilities in the system. Yeah? So they find the vulnerabilities, they report back to the company, and then the company tries to increase the security level of their systems. The gray hat hackers, they are like slightly different. Like most of the gray hat hackers, they're on the game for fun. You know, like for instance, when someone hacked the Burger King Twitter account and turned it into like a McDonald's. They put the McDonald's logo. They did like said McDonald's was awesome.
I think this idea was amazing, by the way. I love this shit.
Yeah.
The password was very, very easy as well.
Yeah, the password back then was Whopper123. We got much better. I'm not joking. You can Google the stuff. Yeah, like that was the password. Now we have much better security. I think the password is Whopper12345. It's dramatically
Exclamation
improved
point.
since then. Yeah, but this is what gray hat hackers do. You know, like they hack stuff for fun. And then you have like the black hat hackers. The black hat, Jesus.
Black hat hackers.
Thank you. So the black hat hackers, they are the guys who are like the most famous. You know what I mean? Like they are on the game for personal gain, and those are the guys that make like the biggest headlines because they're always like doing some crazy stuff out there.
So we have 3 examples of hacking mindsets that we want to talk to you about. So Mr. Paulson is the first one. He's a guy that he used to hack radio shows. So you know these radio calls that the call number 10, it's gonna get the money or whatever, or the trip or whatever. So he was always the call number 10. He found a way to get money out of radio shows. And then Unsolved Mysteries did a show about him, and they gave a hotline for people to call to give information about this guy. He hacked that line as well, and he gave misleading information to everybody.
True story, guys.
So this is a true story. So Mr. McKinnon here, he's more like a
Second guy.
second guy, McKinnon guy. He's more like a driven by ego, to say it in a way.
It's a gray hat.
It's a gray hat, exactly. He hacked the webpage of the US military and the NASA, and he just wrote one line that says, your security is crap. That's all he did. You know, he just wanted to give a point. And of course, Anonymous, we all know Anonymous. Well, no one knows Anonymous, but you get the point. Anonymous, that basically, they are always hacking for a cause. They are not just hacking because, they always have a cause behind them.
So by now you might be wondering what the hell do all these hackers and the hacking thing has to do with advertising.
And whoppers.
So yeah, let me explain. We're not just advertising nerds, we're like full-on nerds. So we spend a lot of time studying and doing research on, as you can see, the world of hackers. And we thought that if we could decode the way that they do what they do, that they hack, the steps that they take and the framework they use in order to hack, we could bring it back to advertising and use it for our brands to be able to hack pop culture consistently, have a consistent approach to advertising. So essentially what we came up with, it's 5 steps that are gonna help you and agencies and brands approach advertising with hackvertising and just have great results. Cool.
So let's start with, this is when you put number 1.
Yeah, I placed already.
Let's start with
coming,
step 1.
Coming.
It will come. So step number 1, define a system to hack. This is what hackers call eavesdropping. So what is this? Okay, this is about monitoring systems. You know, hackers need to monitor systems to know how they work. And once they know how they work, they can react to it. So this is what we call in David and in advertising the voltage of an idea. How buzzworthy an idea is. So, and we are not, you can see, like we're just saying, we're nerds. We're not the guys who go to the street to find insights, you know. We just sit in our computers. That's all we do all day long. And so we found the best way for us, Brazil, the best way for us to find real insights and real stuff is in Imgur, in 4chan, in social media, because that's
Reddit.
where the conversation,
Reddit, YouTube.
9gags, late night shows, things that happen fast. Because that's how communication is happening nowadays. Everything is so fast that you cannot wait for the news from the next day, or you need to be fast, you need to be reactive. So let's take one example that we had not that long ago, and this just a pro tip. Use trendsmap.com. It's one of the best tools that we have out there to see what the world is talking about. So this happened late last year, late December. Star Wars was released, and the US was not talking about Star Wars. They were talking about net neutrality, a guy named Najid Pai, and a thing called the FCC. Now, we had no idea what either of those were.
You know there's something wrong when people are not talking about Star Wars, so.
Exactly. So we were saying, like, okay, what's going on here? So we started doing some research to try to understand this, and it took us like a couple of hours to understand really what this was about, and I'm being generous with the hours thing, but it took us a lot. It was so difficult. So we started doing some research on why these people were using these hashtags, and mainly it was because no one knew what this was. And no one knew that the internet in the US was about to change, and not necessarily for good. So we decided we came up with an idea to explain net neutrality to the US and how difficult it was going to be to keep on experiencing the internet as we know it. The internet was about to change. There was a law that was about to change how democratic the internet is in the US. And the most democratic thing that we have with Burger King is the Whopper. So we found a link there, and we started thinking on an idea to explain net neutrality to the US, right? So we came up with this idea, and Fernando hated it. Hated it. He was saying that no one is going to get it, so he hated it. We started talking with different people, and people were like, yeah, let's do it. People telling Fernando, you have to do it. He didn't want to do it.
You did a really shitty job explaining.
It was super hard to explain.
Might be. Well, just for you, the rest get it. So
The rest is usually afraid to tell you the truth, but yeah.
okay, so we kept on insisting Fernando, saying like, hey, trust us, this is the thing. And he really did. He didn't believe completely in the idea, and he told us like, here's the money, prove me wrong, okay? And we're gonna show you right now a little thing of what we did, of the case study of what we did.
It means internet service providers will be able to charge some people for some websites and other content more.
Still don't really get it.
Damn Burger King stepping up with the damn Whopper to explain net neutrality to us.
Burger King Corporation believes that they can sell more and make more money selling like chicken sandwiches and chicken fries, so now they're slowing down the access to the Whopper.
Slow Mbps, fast Mbps, or hyper fast Mbps. Mbps, of course, standing for making burgers per second.
What are you talking about? Critics say the FCC's decision to end net neutrality will create a similar situation.
This is like a lane system? It's gonna be like 15, fast lane, slow lane. So like maybe like 15. Hold on, 10 seconds.
Ah, now I get it.
Look at what it takes. It's crazy.
You have to pay extra money to get your order faster?
Even though it's not in their industry or in their field, I really think this is as smart an ad as you can do, because it rallies people to Burger King's side.
This is a bad dream right now. I just want a burger, brother, a burger.
So, like we were telling you, we slowed down the Whopper to give a point on how shitty the internet was going to become if net neutrality was repealed. That basically kind of gave us a political statement on this thing, but a political statement-ish, because it wasn't that political, to be honest. Like, we started doing some research, and we found out that 79% of Republicans in the US didn't want net neutrality to be repealed. And we found that 81% of Democrats didn't want net neutrality to be repealed. We're talking about 80% of the country were in favor of net neutrality. So we said, okay, we have a thing here.
You want me to delete the stuff?
Yes. Okay. So we were we had a good thing, but again, we got into a political subject but we were in a win-win situation. We were standing in favor of the internet, and we were also standing in favor of the American people, basically. So what happened? We got invited to the White House. Because they wanted to explain us what they really want to do, you know? And of course, Fernando didn't go, but several times. Fernando didn't.
More than one time, yeah.
Yeah, so, but again, we touched a nerve from the administration. So what happened? Then the voting day came. They were going to vote to save, basically, the internet in the Senate. And something organic, and to be honest, to our surprise, amazing happened in the Senate.
Don't slow it down. Don't create paid prioritization. That's like saying in the Burger King ad, like you can go and if you want the next Whopper available, pay $15. I think they did a pretty good job of showing what would happen if you had every business operating that way.
So after this happened, they voted, and they voted against repealing net neutrality. And we like to think that we were, in some way, helping the American people to know what was about to happen and why they should be calling their senators.
But can you imagine these guys? Not even on my wildest, most optimistic, crazy dreams.
Oh, he has some of those, really. It's
really wild. Leave that for later. Not even on my wildest, craziest dreams, I would think that our brand, is a burger brand, guys, would end up like on the US Senate, being discussed as an example of something that helped people understand something that was a big issue, that would become a big issue in the US. Let's move to a different example. This example comes from Germany. It's from Grabers and Partners. I don't know if Tobias is here, but like Tobias, Ivo, Andrea, Bene, lots of people work on this one. It's one of my favorite cases for the past 12 months for BK. And it's a case that, again, when we were trying to identify what people would be talking about, I'm sure all you guys remember 2016, we have that wave of scary clowns. You know, like everyone was talking about scary clowns. 2017, we saw that coming again, you know, like the It movie, which was launched just before Halloween. It had like the most watched trailer in the in history on YouTube. So we knew that was driving momentum. We did look at some data, as you can see here, very technical data showing that people were like looking at clowns more than vampires. Well, we just assume that they are equally like rivals on the competition about scaring people. Yeah,
big data.
Yeah, that's data.
Go data.
Yes, go data. Do not tell my mom I show a chart showing comparison between clowns and vampires in Cannes. She really like second guess all the money she invested on my education. But anyway, so I will show you like just a little part of the clip so that you understand what we did with that, because we saw the opportunity. Well, for us, clowns is kind of like an easy target anyway. So this is what we did in Germany. So it's just having fun, guys. Like, we work on advertising, right? So this was done on the pre-premiere of the It movie in Germany, and it caused like created headlines everywhere. And the way we went about it, it's actually very similar to a hacking technique that's called phishing, where hackers go and they recreate like the landing page of Facebook or Gmail, so that because they know that people are going to go there, and they type their information, and then they basically take your information. So here we knew that people were going to go and watch this movie. So we almost like recreated the credits at the end to land like a message that was just like just fun. And surely like not everyone likes the stuff, you know what I mean? Like yeah, that did happen. But like as I said, like if you guys want to do something different, you need to go for it. You know, like even if you feel that there is some risk involved. So let me take that chart quickly out of of the screen so that we don't get into trouble.
So by now, some of you might be thinking like, oh my God, this advertising thing is so new and trendy, but it's actually not. Crispin, Porter, and Bogoski did it before. They did it 10 years ago with an idea called Whopper Sacrifice. What they did was hacking Facebook. And for the 18 to 25-year-olds here who don't know what Facebook is this social media platform that your parents use to connect with their friends. So the idea basically called people to sacrifice 10 friends on Facebook in order to claim a free Whopper. So sacrifice your friends, get a free Whopper. Super simple. 200,000 friends were sacrificed. And then Facebook ended up shutting down the campaign. Why? Because for a social platform that which main goal is to connect people with each other, a campaign that was doing the complete opposite was not in their best interests. So they shut it down, but it ended up generating a lot of awareness and talkability for Burger King, which was great, and also for the Whopper product. And this goes to show that when you're defining the system that you want to hack, you need to have that thing that we like to call voltage. That is basically the talkability of an idea. It needs to be something that people are willing to talk about. And you can see that things like that end up getting headlines.
Awesome. I think we're going to step number 3?
No, 2.
2? Okay, sorry.
The fuck, man. So, step number 2, study it. This is one of the most exciting steps for us. Like, again, we're super nerds, so this is super exciting for me. And we're gonna talk here. This is about how to get in, like hackers do. They get in a software and they get out of the software, because to hack they need to get in, and they need to get out, not to go to jail. You know. So basically, it's about that. It's about studying the rules, knowing the rules, so you can bend them or break them sometimes, right? And we're gonna use an example here from David Argentina with Burger King Argentina. It's a great example, and there was this conversation going on in Argentina every year about this amazing, really cool thing that McDonald's does. Yes, I said that.
Shout out to McDonald's.
That McDonald's does. That is, during one day, they donate all the money from the Big Mac to a foundation for kids. For kids, children. Right? So these guys wanted to hop into this conversation. Burger King wanted to hop into a conversation that happens every year. They know that every year McDonald's steals that day, basically. And so Burger King wanted to be part of this conversation in a nice way, right? So let's check the video, because this is half of the video, but this is what they did.
This Saturday is McHappy Day, where $2 from every Big Mac sold goes towards supporting Ronald McDonald House charities. So please, support RMHC by sharing a meal with your family this McHappy Day.
Hoy no tenemos Whopper.
Una Whopper, no hay chance.
No va a haber Whopper en todo el día en ninguno de los locales de Burger King.
So basically, it's that. We stopped selling the Whoppers, and we sent everybody to McDonald's to buy Big Macs, because that was the way to. That's for the team in Argentina. So and it was like boosting their sales. It was our way to help, and it
was a record here for McDonald's in sales of Big Mac during McHappy Day. It also benefited Burger King as a brand, because we did something that was considered to be good. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah,
and we are hackers. We are not douchebags. That's the difference.
It's different. So and check the video whenever you can. At the end of the video, we sent the king to McDonald's to buy a Big Mac. Everybody was clapping the king inside of a McDonald's. We have that in the video, and that was amazing. And of course,
he bought a Big Mac.
Yeah, he
didn't eat. He only eats flame grilling sandwiches.
Yeah, he didn't.
But he did.
But he bought it.
Yeah.
Bliss.
I will go to the next example. Next example is really cool too. This is I love how it's a whole new different talk, but how this idea came about. Jorg from Publicis, Romania, got hold of me during a breakfast in Dubai. It almost sounds like I'm about to tell a joke, right? I mean, but that's real. That's the real story. And he said, man, do you realize that in Romania, there is only one Burger King? And I'm like, of course, I don't realize that. Well, there is only one. It's in the airport, and it's after security. So people from Romania can only go to Burger King if they are leaving the country, which doesn't make any sense. So this is like just a short clip to show what we did.
We have only one Burger King in Romania, and that's at the bloody airport.
So you have to go through security check to get your Whopper. Nu poți să mănânci la Burger King în România.
You need a boarding pass to eat a Whopper in Romania.
You have to buy a flight ticket and leave the country to go to Burger King.
E nasol. I'm really not happy with this.
Burger King presents WhopperNoShow.com, the first travel service that finds you super low-cost tickets so you can get your Whopper without having to fly anywhere.
So we did this activation for around like 10 days, 15 days, because the airport did shut us down. But the good thing is that it brought awareness to people that they can do that. You know, you can buy last-minute tickets for like 6 euros, 9 euros, 12 euros, and we did have people coming to do that. I'm happy to share the information if anyone is skeptical about that. We do have all the data. But that's not the point. The point that we are trying to make here is that to pull this off, we had to really study and understand how does the security on the airport works. Because believe it or not, airports have different security systems. Like in Miami, for instance, if after you pass security, it's very easy for you to leave. You don't have to talk to anyone. You can just walk out. In Romania, it's not like that. It's much more complicated. You need to go through security again as you are leaving. So we need to study how travel agencies work, right? I mean, we built a partnership with Vola, which is the largest travel site from Romania. We created like a site that would link to their site. So it's really complicated. And the point here is like when you see stuff like that, it looks like neat and simple, but it's actually, there is a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes in terms of studying so that you make sure you understand how to pull it off. And yeah, as I already said, we were banned from the Bucharest airport, who did shut down our stuff while we were still like deploying the activity. Now it's number 3.
Yes.
Now it's number 3.
So after you define the system and you study it, you enter step 3, which is finding a relevant way for the brand to break in. And this is probably one of the most important steps because it connects the brand with the topic. So the idea here, it's kind of like in the world of hacking would be a malware. The malware, it's the software that you design to take control over a system. So in the world of advertising, the malware would be your creative idea, and it's designed to take control of a conversation. You need to have 3 pretty clear things when you're finding the relevant way for the brand to break in. You need to have clarity on the tone and manner of your brand, like what's your brand personality. You need to have a clear point of view from the brand on that specific topic, and you need to have clear objectives of what you're trying to achieve with the hack. And I think we have a pretty great example, again, from our David Buenos Aires office that first I'm going to show you what was the system that we were to hack, and then we'll show you how we hack it.
Frenzy online. But an emoji is attracting a lot of attention online.
Google? Let me just tell you, the cheese never goes below the patty.
I Googled it, and it showed that the cheese should be on top of the burger.
These are all the different cheeseburger emojis.
I think Twitter has it right.
Google CEO answered.
Pichai said it will be addressed if folks can agree on the correct way to do this.
Okay, so this was a system that we found. And it was this conversation that happened earlier this year that was about the burger emoji, which is insane, but the internet is insane. So people were discussing what was the correct build of the burger emoji. Some said like the Facebook was right because the cheese was on top of the patty. Others said that Samsung got it right because the cheese was on the bottom. And people were discussing what was the order and what ingredients should go on the burger emoji. And so it was a perfect conversation. It was about burgers. So how could we find a way for the brand to break in a relevant way? And this is what we did.
Introducing the Emoji Whopper. We turn to Instagram Stories, the only platform able to evade Unicode, and invited followers to post a story using their emoji mentioning Burger King. In return, we transformed that tiny computer food into real, fresh, flame-grilled Whopper burgers. 1,000 vouchers were given out in just 2 hours. Redeemable at our restaurants, showing there's as many Whopper combinations as there are emojis. Samsung Emoji Whopper.
Pan, carne, lechuga, queso, tomate, pan.
Apple Emoji Whopper.
Pan, lechuga, carne, queso, tomate, pan.
Or whatever foam brand this is, Emoji Whopper.
So as I was saying, this is one of the most straightforward and clear examples to show how a brand can break in a relevant way, because Burger King's tagline is your way, as most of you know, and it's about getting things your way, personalization and customization, and just being able to build the Whopper in whatever combination you want. So that's what we did. We turned every different burger emoji into a real Whopper and allowed people to enjoy it by themselves. That's how we found a relevant way for our brand to break into the emoji conversation.
And another way, it's not only about Burger King. Like, any brand could do this, and any kind of brand can do this Hackvertising thing. Even nonprofits. And we have a quick example here of something that we did with Guaco and Nacho from David Argentina a couple of years ago. Maybe you've seen that. Henry is back. So Henry, our friend, we had a problem in Argentina. Not even in Argentina, globally, there was a problem. There was, women cannot show nipples in social media, in Instagram, Facebook, blah, blah. So we have a client in Argentina that it's MAGMA, that it's a breast cancer foundation, that they couldn't show how in social media, which is the most effective way that they can show it, they couldn't show how to make a self-breast examination exam or test. So we found Henry, a big guy with big boobs that was going to help us with a woman's hand, to do how to perform this exam yourself, you know. So it was the only way that we found to hack Facebook and Instagram. We've been told that there are discussions in Facebook today about when there are health reasons, they will open this censorship, which is great, which is what they should be doing. But yeah, it was about hacking.
And it's the most watched self-breast examination video in history, which I think is amazing what these guys did for MAGMA. I don't know how it ended on a Burger King presentation though, but that's
to be honest, like a couple of minutes ago it wasn't. We made it there.
But it's all good. So another example that we have that's like a really fun one. Well, I mean, if you are from Latin America like we are, you know that every now and then you stumble on a really weird new law, right? I mean, it's something special if you are Latin American. And in Peru, they passed a law saying that you could now bring you could bring your own food to the movie theaters. So you're going to go watch a movie, you can bring your own food, yeah? But there was a catch on the law. There was always a catch. The catch was that the food had to be similar to the food that the movie theater sells, which doesn't make any fucking sense, I know. But that was the law in Peru. And everyone was talking, yes.
Latin laws.
Let's go, vamos. Yeah, sorry, the English came first. But like everyone was talking about this, the press was talking about this, it was like a big hit in social media. So the guys from Macan Lima in Peru, together with the BK team from Peru, they thought like, how do we jump in this conversation? Because actually, most of our Burger King restaurants in Peru, they are in food courts in malls, which is actually really close to where the movie theater is. So they came up with this idea, which is called King Popcorn, which is basically like a fake popcorn bag, yeah? That just has like the lid on top with a little bit of popcorn, and then you can hide fries and the Whopper on the inside, yeah? And again, like it was just a fun stunt, yeah? They did this for like a week because obviously the movie theater realized that there is something wrong going on, like with people coming with these massive bags from Burger King to the movie theater. But like they inserted the brand in the conversation, which was the main objective. Sales did go up, like for like an outrageously high number. It was more than 40% in the few restaurants that did this in Peru. But the main thing is like it really inserted the brand at the heart of the conversation that was going on. And that's why this is an example that's very similar to the Trojan horse approach that's used by hackers when they go and hack something.
Great. So step 4, really important one. If you don't want to get in trouble, and this is serious, call your lawyers. Better call Saul. Like, really, we spend more time talking with our lawyers than we do talking with our wives and girlfriends. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of time that we talk with our lawyers.
Say that for you. If I say that, I will have problems.
So basically, it's being in constant contact with your lawyers and talking with them a lot, letting them know what your struggles are, because from a legal standpoint, they will actually help you solve it. I think the lawyers are the only reason we are standing here giving this talk and we're not rotting in a jail cell in Miami.
That would be pretty bad.
That would be pretty bad.
Yeah. So a cool example of that it happened like when we did a campaign that we called...
Which, by the way, when you pressure a lawyer, they could get really creative. You have no idea. You keep insisting, and they keep bringing you solutions that you go...
Not necessarily in the right direction, but they do try. But like one cool example that we have, which when you look at the campaign, it looks like really neat and simple, but what the campaign hides is like a ton of work on the behind the scenes from a task force between agency, client, and the lawyers. And that campaign is Mac Mansions. Mac Mansions is a print and an out-of-home that we did. Those are real pictures, okay? Real pictures of key leaders of our competition or former leaders of our competition. We know that people in the US, they prefer a flame grill burger than a fry burger. We have data that shows that, gold data. 75% of people in the US prefer a flame grill burger. 20% prefer, are basically like indifferent between the two, and only 5% prefer a fry burger. I never met any of those 5. Do not raise your fucking hand. So what we did there was like basically like, it's just a funny thing. It's a silly joke. You know, like we show like a real house. And again, first time we came up with the idea, the lawyer said, there is no fucking way. It was more polite than that, but there is no fucking way that you guys are going to be able to pull that off. And working with Dan, coming up with like hundreds of alternatives on how to make that happen, we did find a way. We found like pictures that were already public from real estate listings of houses the former executives either bought or sold, and we went there and bought the pictures. So this was done legally, which is really cool because it's like an awesome acid test for flame grilling. Yeah? And like flame grilling is hard to resist. It's not really bashing anyone. It's just like cute, fun, wit. I mean, if you have a house that costs like $5 million plus, there is probably a grill in the backyard, right? So that was kind of like the idea that we did.
I love this passive-aggressive relationship we have with McDonald's.
It's complicated.
Okay, so step 5, deploy the attack. And here we're gonna tell you a small story. So last year, Juan and me, we were going to go and play football. We play football, not soccer. So we're going to play football. And we wanted to know where the court was, so we asked one of our devices. The device said, blah, 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 next to the Burger King. And we said, okay, this device knows where Burger King is, maybe it knows what the Whopper is. We asked the device what the Whopper was. The device described better than Fernando what the Whopper was. And we're like, shit, okay. We recorded this. We told Fernando, we need you. Fernando lives 3 blocks away from the agency. That's how insane he is, okay?
It's a blessing and it's a curse.
Yes.
Mainly a curse.
So we told him, we need you to go to the agency tomorrow. We have something to show you. So Fernando appears the next day, and he tells us, I just had the worst week of my career. You better make this worthy. We're like, shit, okay. For us, like at that moment, it wasn't that worthy. So we told him, let me explain you something first. Burger King in the US, they have a media buy of 15-second spots. They only air 15-second spots. They don't air more than that.
On TV.
On TV, yeah. So it's really complicated to feel like to put all the description of a Whopper in 15 seconds and delivering a message. So it's been really complicated. So when Fernando was sitting there, we told Fernando, okay, what if we tell you that we found a way to turn your 15-second spots in 30 seconds? He was like, what? We're like, yeah, what if we turn a 15-second spot into a 30-second spot without paying more? He was super confused. And we told him, like, okay.
I said, Hickey, are you doing math again?
Yes, you're into math again. So we showed him the video. He went insane. He went crazy. 2 weeks later, we were shooting this video where a guy was asking a smart device what a Whopper was. And then we edited, we tested it. It worked amazing. And just a quick reminder, we're going to show something here.
Want to show the video?
Listen, Burger King, quit messing with my mind. Quit messing with my emotions.
You're watching a 15-second Burger King ad, which is unfortunately not enough time to explain all the fresh ingredients in the Whopper sandwich. But I got an idea. Okay, Google, what is the Whopper burger?
According to Wikipedia, the Whopper is a burger consisting of a flame-grilled quarter-pound beef patty, sesame seed bun, mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, pickles, ketchup, and sliced onion.
So,
me? Yeah. Cool. So we uploaded this video on YouTube first. We broke the embargo to PR at noon. By 2 p.m., there were like 2 billion impressions already, which tends to be kind of like our target. And people were just having fun with the thing. You know, like you had a lot. I mean, you guys know, like Wikipedia is open source, so there was lots of people like going on Wikipedia, changing the description of the Whopper just to make fun of us. But imagine this, right? Someone took the time of going to Wikipedia, not remembering their password because no one fucking remembers the password on Wikipedia, resetting the password,
Whopper 123,
putting, like, changing the description of the Whopper. And it was not Whopper 123. Changing the description of the Whopper and playing the video to then film themselves with the, like, that's engagement. You know, like, and we love that. You know, like, I know lots of people who are like, even like some newspapers, they were like, oh, Burger King, massive fail, people are trolling them. We knew that would happen, guys. We're not stupid. You know, like, we're monitoring the stuff, you know? And we prefer that. We prefer for people to have fun with our brand, because our brand is a fun brand, than to try to be control fucking freaks about everything. You know, if someone is doing what they did, I bet that it changed their perception about Burger King. So we just let it go and had fun. And so many people are trying to change the description of the Whopper in Wikipedia. My favorite one is including medium-sized child as an ingredient. That it was so many people that Wikipedia blocked the description with the description that was written like 10 days, a week before, which was what we wanted, basically. But that created a lot of conversation. Wikipedia did ask us to apologize publicly, and they did ban our head of account, Carmen, from Wikipedia. So Carmen, no more Wikipedia for you.
Oh, Carmen.
Did you just say go Carmen?
Go Carmen.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. And then what happened? Google blocked us. They sent an update with a patch to their 700,000 devices so that they wouldn't respond to our ad. So our ad was no longer triggering it.
You're welcome.
And we freaked the fuck out. Ricky's face got paralyzed.
Again.
We didn't know what to do. Again. So we got together, and we had a small lapse of time. We had 2 hours to find a solution because we already shipped the spot, and it was gonna air in late night shows that same night.
This whole thing that you're talking about is a space of 3-4 hours.
Yeah, everything happened in 3 hours. It was insane. So what we did was we decided to re-record the audio and had a high pitch, low pitch, and a women's voice over the original spot, and it started working again because it was detecting the audio wave.
Then the US team switched.
We
like
swapped.
Diego, the US team were amazing with Horizon. They switched the TV spot, and then we shipped to all the US different versions with all of the same name, of course, because we're not messing around.
Yeah. Yeah, and that basically means that these 3 morons standing here managed to beat an army of coders from Google, the Creative Marketeer of the Year. Yay! Go Google! But this goes to show that when you're like playing the Hackvertising game, you need to be super quick and reactive when you're doing it, because when you're doing things that haven't been done before, like anything can happen, and you don't know what to expect, but that's the beauty of it.
Cool. So guys, we are running out of time, so just try to wrap us up here. Look, I mean, if I were to leave you with a message, I would say that Hackvertising is all about...
Take your phones.
Here's the picture.
Yeah, I can even get out. So Hackvertising,
let's get out of the picture.
Hackvertising is all about trying to identify what people will be talking about, what's going to be on the zeitgeist, or what's already on the zeitgeist, and find a way to insert the brand into that conversation, a way that is relevant and helps the brand, and hopefully also helps the conversation. And just think about neutrality as a great example of that. And like the 5 steps, guys, we know this is not rocket science, yeah? But we did take some time to think about what was the framework that hackers use when they go about hacking something. And the more you do, honestly, the better you get at it. But the 5 steps that we came up with were like step 1, define the system to hack, which is basically like identify what people are going to be talking about, study so that you know, like if you want to break the rules, you should know the rules first. Step 3, find a relevant way for the brand to break in. And I think it's really important that for the brand, it needs to be your own brand way. It needs to like be relevant to your brand and be with the brand tone of voice. Call your lawyers so that you can come to Cannes and do a presentation and you're not in Miami jail as Juan described. And step number 5, deploy the attack and disrupt.
Yeah, and you might think that hacking sometimes is risky, but it's worthy. It's like, it's not always bad. Like in the last 4 years, these have been the results that we've had with Burger King. 30 billion impressions and $400 million in earned media in 4 years. That's basically $8 million a year, a month, sorry. $8 million a month, $2 million per week.
You're doing math again.
Yeah,
he called the finance department.
This guy doesn't even have Excel on his computer, man.
That's a fact. But seriously, we're talking about $300,000 of earned media for a brand per day. It's huge. So taking a risk is totally worthy.
Yeah, and if you think about it, $400,000 million in 4 years, it's probably one of the biggest hacking attacks in the history of hacking. Now, if only we could have that money in our bank accounts.
Me too. So, guys, we had a lot of fun putting this together for you. Hopefully, you'll find it useful and entertaining. Really appreciate your time. Obrigado. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
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 Thank you so much for that fun session. I hope you are all suitably inspired to rethink Get Hacking, because that is what this festival is all about. The Debussy is opening in just a few minutes. We will be back here at 1 o'clock on the dot for a session on the future of masculinity.